Hey there, boys and girls of the YouTube world. Another fun one today. A while back, we went and picked up a 403 Oldsmobile from a 1978 Buick something or other. Anyway, Stu Pot called me and they were stripping out this car, selling it to a derby car guy, and he's keeping the motor and transmission. He wanted the Turbo 400. I got the 403. I gave him $200 for it. And I kind of want to do this for a while. I try to make some income on the side because YouTube has not been good lately. So I was hoping we could do a Mojo overhaul on these things. You know, with no machine work, maybe put a cam in, maybe rings, bearings. Turns out this thing was good. Had no blow-by, good oil pressure, good compression. So we just ripped into it. We're gonna throw some radiator hoses on it, coolant, hook up the electric fan, block off these heater hoses, put some heat into it, and then we'll do a compression check to make sure it's good. Hook up our oil pressure gauge to make sure we got good oil pressure, and our temp gauge to keep an eye on that. And then we're also gonna open up the distributor and make sure our vacuum advance and our centrifugal advance are both functioning properly, because it seems a little bit lazy. Actually, that quaterbog seems like it's functioning pretty well. So yeah, a lot of vacuum hoses. We plugged that port, there's one up there, power brake one. So yeah, there was a lot of those, but it seems like she runs okay. No blow by, so that's a plus. We'll break her in a little bit and see what she does. This thing only had 98,000. Looks like the cap was replaced. Everything looks pretty decent in there. It's got a standard ignition products HEI module, so that's been replaced. Is our centrifugal advance working? Sure enough. Now we just got to make sure our vacuum advance is working and call her good. They must have bumped the distributor, taking it in or out. The timing was off quite a ways. Well, we got her up to 180. I assume that's where the thermostat opens. It idles at about 30 psi oil pressure and goes up when you rev it up. Look at that, no blow-by. That means we don't got to put rings in it. And you did test the vacuum advance and it's not working, so we got to get a vacuum advance canister. Right. So he hooked his vacuum squeezer up to it and it didn't do squeezer things.
My vacuum pump.
Oh, you got the big dog out. All right, well, I guess take her outside and pressure wash it off. Once it cools off, we'll rip her apart, throw some gaskets and seals in it, and paint her all up. Gonna clean her up?
Yep.
Picked a nice cool day to do it. 65 degrees yesterday. Mojo waits till it's 40 degrees. Frost plugs are out. Did a little scraping on there. You already drained the oil?
Yeah.
Attaboy. You don't have to worry about mixing that in there. She's ready to go. Took the flex plate off, starters off, water pump. Get her all cleaned up. Said it was nice inside the block when we knocked the core plugs out. We did find this little surprise. DD Speed Shop has been here and schmooed her all up.
This is like race car stuff. That's what they do.
Must have been a leak there, so we'll pay close attention to that when we take it apart and put it together. And also somebody's had the pan off. Sealed that up. That is not factory blue silicone. GM did a nicer job than that, but I think that was schmooed on after the fact. So somebody probably didn't get her sealed up very good. Now we get to tear it all apart and then wait for parts. They're on order. Cut the heads off. Head gaskets don't look blown out, which we'd have known. Could use a little bit bigger valves. I talked to Ricketts, my Oldsmobile professional. He says, yeah, you get the early 350 heads and put on here, and then you put the 403 valves in it or something. He says, then they're really screamers, because these are only like 8.5 to 1 compression. And if you put the earlier heads on, it bumps up the compression. And then you put these big valves in it, and they breathe better. Yada, yada, yada. We're just throwing it back together because I don't have any early 350 heads or any desire to rework them if I did have them. How's she look? Oh man, there ain't a little bit of a ridge. Not bad though.
Yeah, a little bit.
Pretty clean in the valley pan as well. Same thing on this side. Everything looks pretty good. Mojo says the lifters all look nice. So yeah, we should be good to go there. Keep ripping her apart, cleaning her up. Duff, are you supervising? Your worthless information, the VIN number for the vehicle is stamped on the oil filler tube. I believe that's what it is. Or the last 7 of the VIN anyhow. How's she look?
Not too bad.
Not too bad, he says. Man, look at how far down the cylinder walls go.
Look how close that rod bolt is to the...
Ooh!
Couldn't stroke that too much more.
12-point bolts on the rods though. End play?
Got just about the right amount.
The right amount, he says. Perfect. It's gauged. Calibrated.
About 10 thousandths.
I would imagine so.
Not ARPs, are they?
Yeah, right. In a 78 Buick. The rods don't look marked. Oh my word.
That's ready to jump. That's nuts. Look at that.
Good thing I got one of those on order. Good grief, Charlie Brown. Did you see that, Mojo?
Yeah. Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
Is there a sprocket on the other end?
That might have been why it sounded so laggy when we were revving it up. Well, she's gonna rev to the moon now. Did you figure out why they couldn't get this to seal up? What'd they do wrong up there? Looked like everything was in place?
Yeah.
There's some tar in there, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet those are the... Hold on a sec. Are those chunks of the timing gear? Did it have a plastic timing gear that went through the bottom and that's why it's so loose?
Probably is, but we'll find out.
Cleaning her up, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Just take a link out of that chain, put her back together, huh?
We could do that.
I wonder if that had the plastic tipped quiet teeth on the gear there that was in the oil pan. Did you find a bunch of plastic in the oil pan? You think that's what it was?
Well, I'm not really sure.
Also, tech tip of the day. Chains don't stretch. They wear. Oh, you ain't cleaned her out yet.
No, I've been saving
You've been saving it. Yeah, those gotta be little chunks of that gear.
gear in there, ain't it?
Yeah, that brown plastic. It was probably white, but after a few oil changes. Yeah. Otherwise, looks pretty good. Keep cleaning her up and tearing her apart, huh?
Yep.
Waiting for parts. Hurry up and wait. Oh boy, getting them pistons all shined up. What's the letters for? C, and then the C is in the front on that one, B on that one, and a C on that one. It must have been graded by their size or diameter or something, huh? Looks like we got a C, C, upside down C. They all got the mark on the front side though, so that one ain't got a letter on it. Interesting. There's a C on the block and a D on the block and another C. They must have meant something. There's a C and a B and a C. I would imagine they measured the diameters and put the piston in that's closest diameter. High-tech Oldsmobile things, right?
Hey.
Duff, you doing a good job supervising? Oh boy, we're rebuilding a starter too, huh?
Yeah.
New parts even. Gonna be good as new.
Yeah.
Mojo's got a main bearing cap off. Bearings look good. Journal looks good. Finger don't catch on any ridges. Trying to read a date code on there, but I don't see anything. Obviously they're a standard size bearing. Don't see any undersized stampings on it, so good to go. Put her back together, huh?
Yep.
Good stuff. Oh man, got her all cleaned up. Should be ready for paint in no time.
Almost.
Almost. You gonna get your paint brushes out?
Yep.
Arts and crafts.
You know how I am as a painter.
Oh boy, yeah, you're right. I'll paint it.
Okay.
Starter's all freshly overhauled. Got the oil pan all cleaned up. Still gotta fix the busted studs in the manifold. Fix a couple other little things, but slowly but surely. Well, you got the push rods all.
Well, some of them.
Some of them are all cleaned up.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely, she'll be an engine again. Little update on the 403 Oldsmobile that we got Mojo putting together over here. There's the frost plugs out of it. You can tell it ain't had water in it. Well, it's had coolant, not water. They're not rusty. And here's the spark plugs out of it. They all look about as good as they could be. They're maybe a little bit dark, but I'm guessing the car just idled a little bit in the last. It was run, so yeah, nothing concerning. They're not all full of oil. They're not super sooty or carbony or anything like that. We just got oil pump show up thermostat, carb kit, fresh brass frost plugs. I've never put those in before. Yeah, we're bougie. Joe's got the oil pan all shined up and the block cleaned up. We're waiting on our timing set yet. Still waiting on the fuel pump and the water pump as well, but here's the heads. He went through the valves last week and they are freshened up, ready to go. It's kind of neat. These even got frost plugs in the heads, one at each end. These are a 4A head, which is the factory head that corresponds with the 403. Tell it's 4A by the way it's stamped on the end. That's how you identify Oldsmobile heads, is by that number at the end. I think the 350 that we got the same day has got 7 heads, which is like a 72 to 76 head. And my buddy Ricketts, Swappy, Mr. Oldsmobile himself, said you got to get the 5 heads are the ones you want, and then you put like the intake valves out of these or something. You do a bunch of head work and then you get good heads, but it's mainly for the combustion chamber because these things are at low compression because of the combustion chamber, I guess. That's what he says. Anyway, back at it. Is there a mouse in that trap? Well, since Mojo skipped out early because it's a Irish holiday, even though I would say he's Norwegian. But anyway, give you an update on the 403. Got the rear main seal in, new oil pumps in there. Guess what? Rear main seal, rope. 1978, Oldsmobile was still using 2-piece rope rear main seals. I guess they used that all the way up until the end. You could get an 87 Cutlass 442 with a roller cam and a rope rear main seal. And people wonder why Oldsmobile's not in business anymore. But anyway, oil pan's on, this front cover's on, the timing set showed up, so he's got that in there. Yeah, front main seal's in. We're making progress here. We got to go to Watertown, South Dakota tomorrow, Chin and I, and talk to middle schoolers about career day, you know, so what not to do, aka start a YouTube channel. But anyway, we're gonna do that tomorrow, so by the time we get back, Mojo, he might be firing that thing up. It would surprise me, but it also wouldn't surprise me because Mojo's the man when it comes to that stuff. He's got the Mojo motor magic. All right, but for real now, I'm gonna go jump in the green 39 Ford and go enjoy the evening. Because what fun is an old car if you don't ever drive it?
How goes the battle over here?
Go on.
Head gasket's all greased up, ready for head number 2.
Head number 2.
Alrighty.
Sitting over here.
Got all the valves lapped and nicely ground.
Yeah, see?
It's pretty good.
Hey, you got it, you got it, you got it, you got it. Got it! Wait. Here's some candy.
Well, we missed it because Mojo don't know how to run a camera. We have to teach you how to run one of these, don't we? 55 pounds of oil pressure. Oh, that's a fancy one. It's, what is it, indexable? You can rotate it. Oh, you can spin it all the directions. Oh, fancy. So he's got it all primed up, got oil in there, got everything up top with the assembly lubed. We're ready to put an intake on it and harmonic balancer and water pump, huh? Did you have to pull the harmonic balancer off, or you're just getting ready to put it on there?
Putting it ready to put it on.
Oh, gotcha. Boy, that's a cute little oil filter. Sits at an angle even. All right, I'll let you get back to work. The 403 is finally ready for paint. Cleaned it up as good as we're gonna get it. Taped off the intake, taped off the breathers, taped off our Wix oil filter. Cleaned up as much oil and grime as we can. Cleaned up our silicone on the end. Except for that little guy right there. Don't worry about that little guy.
Oh, that little guy. I wouldn't worry about that little guy.
Couldn't find the Oldsmobile blue that I wanted, so I got Pontiac blue from Duplicolor here. This is the good stuff, not a paid promotion. Now we're gonna have DB paint it all up so I can harass him if there's any overspray or sags or runs or spots that he missed or forgot to clean, because I'm that kind of boss. DB's paint job looks pretty good. He's got a couple of pinholes there. I don't know if the oil fill tube just had debris on it or what, but that stuff didn't want to stick to there or that coolant tube real well. But Mojo's gonna start knocking frost plugs in it and put the manifolds on and motor mounts, carburetor, all that good stuff. And we'll throw her back in the run stand and we'll fire it up, see what we got. Starting to look pretty good. I'm not into engine detailing, but I can really appreciate a well-detailed engine. Hopefully this one gets there. We're still waiting on a fuel pump and a water pump, and it's been over a week. Don't screw them nice brass frost plugs up now. Those are expensive. Those are like gold coins.
I can't put them in.
Yeah. Hopefully they, yeah, don't, oh, yes, drop it. Cripes.
I done messed it up already.
Almighty. Hard to find good help around here. Show you the parts that we put in it. I should not show you the parts, tell you the parts we put in. I paid $200 for the motor and we had over $500 in parts. So we'll just say $600. We got $800 in this thing. We're gonna list it for $1,500 and hopefully it sells, hopefully make some money. Otherwise, we can use this thing. It'll pretty much drop in the place of any 350 Oldsmobile or maybe 455s. But anyway, it'll drop in the place of a 5.7 diesel if we ever get a G-body with a 5.7 diesel, or we get another square body with a 5.7 diesel like we did a Will It Run on years ago. So here's what it is. We're waiting for the water pump still. Rock Auto forgot to ship it. We got 8 new spark plugs, air filter, fuel pump, timing chain kit. So we got a new timing chain sprockets and a chain. Gasket set was $70. Intake manifold gasket is $20.79 extra. New water pump, new oil pump, brass frost plug kit was another $10. Thermostat, plug wires, distributor vacuum advance was bad. That was another $20. We didn't put a carb kit in it, but we got the carb kit. That was another $20. We'll send that with it, but this carb seems like it works really good. It's got the quadrajet on it. Cap rotor, put a Wix oil filter on it. That was just a little over $500 with shipping. I believe they only made the 403 from 77 to 79. They put it in a lot of stuff like Buicks and Trans Ams and other things. So pretty good little motor. If you want to throw money at them, you can make some power out of these things. So they are kind of weird because they got this crossover that goes the other side for single exhaust. The starter's on the driver's side as opposed to the passenger side. Got the same Delco alternator as a small block Chevy. Different bracketry obviously than a small block Chevy. HEI, a lot of the same parts there, but a different distributor as a small block Chevy. Quadrajet with the front inlet. Kind of different. They got the oil filler neck here up front. Like I said, we're still waiting on a water pump. Bearings all look good, and it had really good oil pressure, so we didn't mess with those. Rings, we didn't even mess with those because it had really good compression, no blow-by, so we left all that stuff in there. But we did put new head gaskets in it, rear main seal in it, oil pan gasket, front gasket, all that stuff is new. New plugs, wires, cap, rotor, all that stuff. DB got her all painted up. She looks pretty good. Like I said, there's that crossover coming in the bottom of the manifold on the passenger side, and then that's where they go out. I don't know if the manifolds are the same as a 350. They look the same as a 350 Oldsmobile. And I don't know if you could ever get these with dual exhaust or not. I would imagine you must have been able to on the old Trans Am. And I'm sure you can just cap this one off on the passenger side and then run a pipe out the back and have yourself a dual exhaust. So anyway, we're gonna fire this thing up. We're gonna run her up to temp, and then we'll check the oil pressure and temperature. We'll do a compression check, and then we'll take a video of it, and we'll list her on the book face. And I got a buddy that might be interested in it, so we'll message him. And if not, price and availability in the video description. And if nobody buys it, maybe we'll find a home for it. But this is kind of a way to keep Mojo busy, and then something to maybe make some money on the side, even though we're probably only gonna make, I don't know, for time and stuff like that, probably make 500 bucks if we sell it. And yeah, not getting rich, but pretty good motor. I had one of these in a 77 Delta 88 back in the day. It was probably one of the fastest cars I had for many, many years. Had like 294 gears. You could just bury the 85 Speedo. And of course I left the radiator cap one Christmas Eve and drove it home and overheated it, and it was never the same. Whoops. But anyway, gonna take a swig of dew and fire this thing up.
Yep.
Mono's gonna top her off with water. We'll check our oil here. She's full and fresh. Ooh, look at all those goodies that came from that van, Duff. Score. Good grief, don't we have a garden hose?
We do.
Cheaper.
Takes just as long to grab that as.
Oh, you're all about efficiency, huh?
Well, sure, no.
Except for all the dirt that's in that bucket.
There ain't much dirt in there.
Not anymore, it's all in that radiator.
I know it. It's all in here now.
And to think Mojo was around when they invented the funnel. It's gonna fire right up, huh? Almost 60 pounds of oil pressure cold. No blow by, no noises. All kinds of oil pressure. Ain't smoking. Just starting to come up on temp. Thermostat's open. 40 pounds of oil pressure. We're right at about 200 degrees. It's got a 190 thermostat in it. It's got some really crappy electric fans. We run it on the clutch fan, but it got in the way of the radiator hose, and we just didn't want to mess around with it. So it's good enough. It's not heat. It's got good oil pressure, no funny noises, no blow by. It's gonna be a good motor. There we go. Pushing a little water out our overflow because we just topped her off. She's gonna be a good rig for somebody. Love the smell of that fresh burning paint. There you have it. A fresh Mojo Craft overhaul of a 403 Oldsmobile, or a 6.6 liter. That's the crazy part about the old 79 Trans Ams like Dirt Reynolds I got. Let's see what she'll do. That thing was a Tata 10th anniversary Trans Am. Came with a 6.6. You could either get with an automatic, you got a 403 Oldsmobile, or if you got a manual, you got a 400 Pontiac. So if you want to own this thing, hit us up. Price and availability in the video description. Check us out on mortske.com. Get yourself some merch there so that we can keep some revenue coming, so that we can keep the lights on and everybody paid around this place. And hopefully we'll do some more of these engines in the future. Like I said, I kind of want to do a small block Chevy just because they're, what do you call it, super common. Should be easy to get rid of, easy sale. If not, we'll be able to use them up. Maybe we'll do a big block Chevy. I've been looking at some other weird engines like 428 Pontiac, or who knows what we might come up with. Maybe a Studebaker, maybe a Packard. I don't know. But thank you very much for watching. Go check out other videos. Comment down below what you want to see Mojo overhaul. And remember, it doesn't matter how you get it done, as long as you're having fun. All right, on to the next one.